education is, to me, the most important thing in the world. Ideas go along from the education that you have at the beginning. Without educating kids, they wouldn't be able to have ideas on how to further things in the world. What if every single person in the world had the means of having an education? How would that affect the world, and how would that affect the economy?
We may think we're very clever as individuals, as human beings, but actually our cleverness is essentially a shared quality. And you can check that by just looking inside your own head, and you ask how many of the thoughts or ideas or pictures in your head would be there if you never spoke to another human being. And the answer is very, very few indeed. So it's as if we're networked. We share colossal amounts of information. We now in the world face some very big and complex challenges. They're complex technologically, but they're also complex politically and socially. Our power as a species is generated by this educational process. So the more human beings are poorly educated, the less well the global synergy of education works.
There are countries in the world who don't have any means of education, and their first priority is putting food on the table and having a shelter above their heads. So how can we get education to them?
Folks in India, in various parts of Asia who have very low means now, may be able to leapfrog over to use technology to actually bring in world-class education into villages. Now, the key thing is power infrastructures. Can they get internet connectivity, all those kinds of things? But once those things appear, they may be able to get really world-class education and even adaptive education way outside the normal cities. So I'm actually very hopeful about what can happen.
We need to find ways of educating people that do not isolate them from each other. We've got to the point where the world is so global that we need to start teaching people that they're human beings. 2 centuries ago, it would have sounded naive to think that you could teach Americans, that is to say, a group of people with fantastically varied backgrounds, different languages, and so on, you could teach them all that they are one nation. Well, they did it. And now that is taught routinely in schools. So if they can do that, I think we can do the same thing in schools. We can teach people that they are members of humanity. And it's really important to do so, because if we don't do that, it's going to be much harder for people to really collaborate in solving problems like the rate of extinction of other species, global warming, acidification of the oceans, and so on. You've grown up in a world of digital technology in which you can email a friend in China, you can phone a friend in China. Your generation is already way ahead of my generation.
Everyone has to have an education so that we can have innovations. Challenges that we may have in research or challenges that we may see in life is what leads to innovation in the future. That really just drives me, and it really encourages me to get more of an education and to help people. I struggled when I was younger, and I don't think anyone should be denied the means of education.